All right, before we get into the meat of this chapter, which is the adjustment side, we need to talk about two different methods of accounting, two different ways that businesses can choose to do accounting, and them being accrual or cash basis. I use choose loosely because you'll understand in a minute why. Let's talk about the accrual basis of accounting. Okay, if a company chooses to use accrual basis, what it does is it records revenues and expenses in the period in which they occur, not when they got them in cash. Okay, so if you remember what we talked about in the revenue recognition principle in chapter 1, it didn't matter what the cash was. It's did we render the product or the service? We have to record the revenue in which the time period in which we earned it, not that we got cash for it. That's what accrual basis of accounting is. Is it saying that I'm going to recognize the revenue or the expense at the time in which it occurs, not the cash is exchanged. This uses the adjusting process to recognize revenues when earned and to match expenses with the revenues. So that's, again, what we're going to be talking about in this chapter, the adjustment side. Some things we kind of push until the very end because we have the ability to. Some things we have to journalize right then at the moment that it happens. So the adjustments are the ones that we can kind of push to the very end. This one, this is why I said it's kind of loosely you choose. It is required by GAAP. If you're going to follow GAAP, if you're a publicly traded company, you have to use accrual basis of accounting. Now, adversely, on the other side, you have what's called the cash basis of accounting. And as the name implies, it's based on cash. This records the revenues and the expenses in the period in which the cash is collected or paid. This one's holistically dependent on is the cash received or is it given. It doesn't follow GAAP. But again, you can use materiality, the materiality constraint to say, okay, it's just not worth it. I can use cash basis, or again, if you're a smaller mom and pop shop, you can use cash basis as well. But that's the difference between accrual and cash basis. In the next videos, you're going to see why that's more significant when we start talking about the adjustments. Appreciate it.